Hey everybody, out here in the garage right now and got it the green Montgomery Ward up on the Hoyer lift, which once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, one hell of a nice tool to have. There's Frank over there on the Jim Dandy. So, what I'm doing with this machine here, this is that weird tag H60 that came from the Tecumseh plant, and I don't know where the accent came from. Alright, so I forgot where this Tecumseh came from. The guy I got it from worked at Tecumseh, so I think it was a test motor because it has a really interesting throttle setup that I've never really seen on an H block. It's like the smaller ones or the later side throttle, but it's set up for a mini bike. So I haven't really seen many of those, but I had this motor running before. If you go back in the old videos, there's a Ford rototiller, and it had this words and things. This motor was on it, and it was working fine. The carburetor was kind of janky, but I went through and I rebuilt the carb. It was running perfect after that. Took it off, put it on the shelf. Now it has spark. It loses spark. I already went through. I actually changed the coil, changed the points, changed the condenser, cleaned the flywheel. I've done it so many times, I've lost interest in trying to fuck with it. Oh, I swore, sorry. I've actually had this thing apart so many times, I don't want to do it anymore. So, what I'm doing right now, is this bike is actually going to a guy tomorrow. What I'm doing with this is, I'm going to pull this motor out. I have this motor right here. This is a later model, H60. And it's actually been bored 10 over. So it's a nice clean bore. It's got a nice oversized piston. I mean, 10 thousandths isn't much, but overall it's a great condition motor, and it also has solid state ignition. So no points, no bullshit. So I'm just going to yank that, swap all the parts onto it, stab it back in here because this has a brand new carb and everything. And I'm going to also experiment around with one of the old school mufflers. This is just like a little spark arrestor. These are loud, but I think that would probably look pretty good. You know, that should be right about like that. Or I might just do one of these again, I don't know. These are tried and true and they work good, so. But that's what's going on with this. So I'm gonna do a quick tear down. I gotta disconnect the throttle, disconnect the fuel line. This one I can do. Ta-da. A lot of little stuff. Just gotta pull everything off of here and get it ready. And then it'd be cool if I could figure out what the heck was wrong with this eventually, but might be something for a later day. Because what I'm actually doing is swapping a lot of these later style motors in place of the early ones. It's actually what I'm going to be doing to both of those bikes over there, the Hilltopper and the Trailmate. I have an Aaron 6-horse right there, solid state. I'm going to swap the old style blower housing and all that on there, so it's just going to have a silver block, but it's going to have a much more reliable solid state ignition. And then this one here, it has a dual shaft, but that can get covered up easy enough after I cut the one shaft off. That one has a lighting coil. That one's going to go in the Hilltopper, so the headlight and all that works. But since I actually like to ride those bikes, and right now they don't have the reliability, and both motors are currently blowing oil, I'll mark them as to what bike they came off of. I got the tags, and I'll set them aside until I actually go through and rebuild them and do all that. But for now, motor swap time. But alright, well it looks like the motor's ready to come out, and then I'll set it up here on the workbench. Let me make some room. I'll change that camera angle around. I cleaned this motor up so good it's actually kind of slippery. There we go. Now, is that going to clear? There's a piece of steel right here. We may have to cut that out since this is a retrofit. Let's move that magnet up out of the way. Yep, she's hitting the side of the coil. Well, sadly, I did actually have to cut that piece out. If this was an engine that was just going to sit at one speed for a long period of time, I'd be more concerned. Because obviously that helps divert more air over to this section here. But the fact that this bike is going to be ridden, you're going to have the other wind flow already going over it as well. This thing is not going to overheat. Alright, well I got the motor all put together. And now we are going to install it. So I'm going to get the bolts prepped. Just pulling off the nut and the lock washer and the other washer. And then you got two in it already sitting on the motor plate of the engine. So when I bring it in, the first two are going to hopefully sit right on in there. Get that up and out of the way. Come on. There we go. The motor can just kind of slide right into place here. Just like that. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, it looks exactly like it did before, but just now I know it's better. I'm going to get the other two for the back. This is the one I did all the motor plate work to. Completely cut it off. Pretty much restarted from scratch. Which is a royal pain, but let's get this tension plate in proper position. tricky. Getting all these parts together in one spot. That's one side. Let's do the other. Move that tiny bit forward, just enough so that hopefully this bolt can start to bite in. There you go. Proper tension and bolts installed. Now I gotta go do the last two bolts on the back, which missing a lock nut washer. There we go. Then we'll flip it around, get the drive side assembled, get the motor tensioned. Oh, can't do it all. Camera shy. All right. Hopefully this is going to still be long enough. Now with that tensioner in place. I don't know if I have a long enough bolt for that to work proper. Thought that would have been long enough. This thing's almost at its full maximum adjustment, period. There's my belt kind of binding up here a little bit. Acting mighty strange. And I'm leaking gas. Okay. That's a little tight, but should do alright. The rest of the torque converter on. Rest of the driver. There we go. Nice grade 8 bolt, fine thread. We're getting there. And then on this side I do have a clutch cover. I don't know if we're going to put it on completely, but at least pop it on there to show you. This is one that was chrome, but got all destroyed. Oh no. See, this is why I think I'm stupid. Where's the bracket that mounts to? Son of a... Alright, so I just had to pull it all back apart again. But now, as I can show you, the cover slides on that bracket. And then, once it's in both tabs up top, kind of pops in the bottom one there. Alright, well, I'll pop that cover back off, get everything else plumbed up on the other side, and then we are ready for a test fire. sounds pretty darn good. Gotta bring the idle down a hair. Good old school flathead. Love the sound.